Welcome to Wesley Impact. I'm Keith Garner. Are you able to spot the signs of someone struggling with a mental illness? I'm glad you've joined us on the show today as we continue this short series looking at mental health here in Australia during this month. I asked the question about spotting the signs of someone struggling with some mental illness, as this is a very important part of what we do in our Wesley Life Force networks. Life Force began here at Wesley Mission in 1995 for the influence and vision, really, of the Reverend Bob Dunlop, who was a member of our team at that time. We began by providing support and counselling to people who'd lost a loved one to suicide, and in time it developed. So we established an annual Life Force Suicide Memorial Service in Sydney, as well as our Wesley Life Force Suicide Prevention Networks. Over the years, like many areas of our work, Life Force adapted to meet the needs of people who are seeking to serve and has changed in significant ways. Today we run memorial services across Australia. We have over 110 Wesley Life Force networks across the country, which empower people to meet the needs of their local communities. We run both prevention and post-vention workshops. We support people who are grieving and do all we can to help share the message of purpose and hope. This is a growing area of our work, and I'll discuss that with my guest today, a member of staff, Andrew Moore. Andy has been a colleague at Wesley Mission for many years and oversees our work in the area of mental health. Craig Gower will be singing Jesus Whispers Peace. And I'll share some thoughts on another word of Christian importance today, and that seems appropriate. It's the word peace. It's a very significant part of our work alongside people who are seeking God's help, especially at times of despair, and as we try to help people face up to the challenge of mental illness. Now, I mentioned that Wesley Mission runs a number of Life Force memorial services across Australia in cities including Sydney, Brisbane, Darwin, and also Newcastle. Let's take a look at one of our Life Force memorial services from Newcastle.
Welcome to the Wesley Life Force Suicide Memorial Day. We come here today to remember loved ones lost to suicide, and we meet as a community, united in our loss, and as a community we're entitled to ask for help and to ask for support. Remember, people are here for you as you are here for them.
The value of a day like this is unique to each individual. For some people, it's the first contact with the outer community about something that's really vulnerable. For others, it becomes a ritual within their lives which enables them to cope with their loss, to move through that loss. And for others, it actually instills a sense of that there are people out there that care. I think it's speaking to something that in society we don't always talk about. So people, when they attend our Life Force memorial services, get out of it that they're able to step out of the shadows and talk about suicide in a way that they haven't been able to before. They're seeing the conversations be normalised in supportive company, and that can be a real first for people and really change their perspective on how they work through that loss.
My name is Dennis Tanner. I'm a parent of a daughter who took her own life. She did not seem depressed, but my mum had said, yeah, she was a little down after an old couple who she cared for had passed away. 10 days later, on the last day of her holidays, she took her own life. That was 3 weeks before her birthday.
Wesley Life Force really aims to reach out to those who are bereaved by suicide to know that they're not alone, also know that there is help out there and there can be a comfort in experiencing the loss through the support of others. We want to know, I suppose we want to let people know that the loss doesn't have to be for nothing, that there's an opportunity out there to be able to empower and help others who, when they go through the loss.
In the 20 years since that day, I'm now involved with Maitland Regional Suicide Prevention As a volunteer, and as all the others involved like myself, we have lost a loved one. I believe I have gained a better understanding to help those like my daughter, and working with these volunteers, help those with a problem take up the opportunity to rid themselves of their blues. They do need the help to realise that they are loved and there is hope and help available.
In these moments when we meet together, we share with each other something of the experience of loss and pain that suicide brings. Let this occasion here as we meet together be a place of hope, of strength, of peace. That's why we're committed in Wesley Life Force to offer to our community opportunities to find strength and healing. God bless you, and may you find some peace today.
If you would like to learn more about Wesley Mission, visit wesleymission.org.au. You can find help in our community services, connect with our church and congregations, discover a volunteer role that suits you, stay up to date on the latest news and information, donate to support our work, and help make a positive difference in your community. You can also connect with us on social media and subscribe to receive the latest news and information about Wesley Mission directly into your inbox. Visit wesleymission.org.au.
So don't hesitate to contact us at Wesley Mission if we can be of help to you or a loved one in any way. The email address and website for information is on the screen now. Now, as I said earlier, my guest today is a colleague at Wesley Mission, Andy Moore. Andy began with us 11 years ago and today has a portfolio which spans across many areas of our commercial and community services. Welcome, Andy. It's good to talk to you. You began at Wesley Mission in business operations at first, didn't you?
That's right.
In 2009. But you do so much more today. Tell us what you do today.
So today I work with businesses including our retirement villages, our training and national mental health and suicide prevention work, some of our commercial activities with people with a disability and packaging, and also some of our catering and our conference centre work.
Now, I'm very keen to discuss with you the area of mental health. How important is this?
So at the moment, mental health touches everybody, especially through COVID.
Yeah.
But prior to COVID, we had drought and there was other challenges in community. So it's often about the story of the and. So it's not just COVID that's caused these issues. It's been one thing and another thing
Fires
and another
as well,
thing. Fires,
yeah.
So we're now looking at a spot where people have been under stress for 12 to 18 months. And that's the challenge we're trying to work with.
Tell us a little bit about, because obviously I'm involved in it, but you're involved very deeply in Wesley Life Force networks. Tell us about those.
So at the moment, we've got around 110 networks that we've helped to establish and about another 10 networks on top of that that the community established that we're supporting. So we've got a footprint of about 118 to 120 networks.
Yeah.
A network is like a cluster of people in the community. So it's similar to a service club, but it's people that have come together to focus on mental health, on suicide prevention and on resilience. So every network looks different because every community looks different.
What sort of people are in a network?
So they're volunteers, and so if we go out to Western New South Wales, it could be farmers or the local council or a local AMBO. If we're in town, it could be an accountant or a business person. If we go to remote Indigenous communities, it can be health practitioners or an elder. It's people who are concerned about suicide and mental health, but also whose lives have probably been touched by mental health.
And we do so much more, don't we? In this month, we're thinking of mental health issues. So much about people. I've said many times here in a public space that there is no area of our work at which mental health issues don't knock on the door. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, that's true. So people are complex. And so we have physical issues, we have emotional issues, we have spiritual issues, and they're all bundled up into who we are. And a lot of that comes back to our experiences. So at the moment, because of the challenges, there's about 25 million Australians who have all been touched by mental health issues. They've all been touched by isolation. They've been touched by the stress and the trauma of watching the news and being concerned if they or a loved one's going to be impacted by the pandemic. That's sleepless nights, people losing their job creates financial stress. So there's issue on top of issue. And that often results in people being mentally unwell. That doesn't mean that they have a mental illness. That means that it can be an incident where their mental health isn't coping as what it normally would. And that's when people can make either poor decisions, or if they're isolated, there's no one for them to reach out to and bounce off.
So the evening news becomes a catalogue of figures. So many people down, so many people died. That, you can't live through that, can you, without it affecting you?
No, and so many of us get our news from social media now.
Yep.
And the way social media works is it looks at what you want to look at and then it throws more at you. So if you're on Facebook or social media and you say, I want to know about the rates in Wollongong or Newcastle, the social media will keep providing those even when you're not looking for them. So when you go looking for other uplifting things, you're bombarded with these negative concerns.
Let me ask, because of the nature of the programme, how important the Christian faith is to you?
Christian faith is very important to me. So I'm a Kiwi. I came over to Australia to study and to find my way in life. I grew up in a Christian home, but the Christian belief, principles, my relationships with God, but also with those around me, is why I do what I do. And that's why I was attracted to Wesley Mission, because it's the word and the deed. And that's that and word in the middle that lets me feel like I'm doing all the good I can.
And has your faith deepened, if I dare ask that, through working at Wesley Mission?
So I'd say faith is a journey. It's not a destination. And so there's some days where my faith is struggling. There's some days, especially with suicide prevention and mental health, where I'm talking to people and they're saying, how did this happen? And I have to really search. And there's other days where I just feel blessing on top of blessing. And so it's a journey, and it's building the relationship with God and with those around me in the good times that I can then lean on in those tough times.
And I know you attend, obviously, a local church, and that's important to you. And you play piano there, as you play, yeah. But there's an appropriate distance between that and what you do every day, isn't it? That's the place where God blesses you.
Yeah, so I'm a piano player. My family are musicians, and so when I play the piano, it's just me and the keyboard. And that means I don't have to think about anything else, and I can play and express myself, often with good friends who I play in the band with or in the church service. Sometimes that can be emotional for me. Music is a way when I play that I can express happiness or sadness. And in times playing for friends at funerals, or playing when there's been funerals for people who have died by suicide, is sometimes the best way that I can minister to that family. Yeah.
Well, look, I'm delighted at what you do, Andrew. Thank you for what you do at Wesley Mission, not just in this area, but in many, many areas. And I always take my senior team seriously, and I want to thank you that God has blessed you during this time.
Thank you so much, Keith. Pleasure.
Let's now welcome Craig Gower, who's going to sing Jesus Whispers Peace.
There is a name to me so dear, like sweetest music to my ear. For when my heart is troubled, filled with fear, Jesus whispers peace. When grief seems more than I can bear, my soul weighed down with heavy care, and I am sorely tempted to despair. Jesus whispers peace. And oh, that the world might hear him speak that word of comfort that men seek, to all the lowly and to the meek. Jesus whispers peace, whispers peace. Jesus whispers peace.
Experience the Galilee and the towns and cities where Jesus was raised and called his home. Capernaum, Nazareth, Tabgha, Magdala, Caesarea Philippi, Bethsaida, Tiberias, and of course the Sea of Galilee all feature in this 6-part series as Keith Garner explains the first century context of biblical events.
Jesus was born during a time of change in the political and economic leadership of this region. Fishermen around a lakeside was really one of the big businesses. Why Jesus? Why didn't people ignore him? Why did they take him seriously? And what are the questions we should be asking today if we're going to take Jesus seriously?
The Man of Galilee is available now and comes with a study guide for leaders, small groups and individuals. For more, visit wesleymission.org.au.
As I was walking down the train station, because I never usually catch a train, I'm always driving, but I happened to catch a train because I was coming back from the city, and I was looking down all the blue shirts, and I went, oh my gosh, I love Wesley Mission. And that's it, we started chatting, and I said, and because I know the good works that they do, I said, yes, of course I want to support weekly, whatever I can. It doesn't have to be a lot. I love that Wesley Mission has been around for more than 200 years. And I think sometimes we try and reinvent the wheel and things collapse and things fail, but this charity has been around for 200 plus years. It's an Australian iconic brand charity that's helping people in the community. It's trusted by the community. You don't have to give a lot, a little helps, $2, $5, even if, whatever you can in your capacity, and help people less fortunate than yourself.
So another word which is considered important in our Christian thinking is the word peace, and it fits in very much into this theme. I'm reading again from John 14, this time a little later than the passage I've previously looked at, in John 14, 15 through to 27. If you love me, keep my commands, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to help you and be with you forever, the Spirit of truth. The world cannot accept him because it neither sees him nor knows him. But you know him, for he lives with you and will be in you. I will not leave you as orphans. I will come to you. Before long, the world will not see me anymore, but you will see me. Because I live, you also will live. On that day, you'll realize that I am in the Father, and you are in me, and I am in you. Whoever has my commands and keeps them is the one who loves me. The one who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I too will love them and show myself to them. Then Judas, not Judas Iscariot, said, but Lord, why do you intend to show yourself to us and not the world? Jesus replied, anyone who loves me will obey my teaching. My Father will love them, and they will come to them and make our home with them. Anyone who does not love me will not obey my teaching. These words you hear are not my own. They belong to the Father who sent me. All this I've spoken while still with you, but the Advocate, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you all things and will remind you of everything I have said to you. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. Peace. It's a fascinating word, isn't it? It's a powerful word. It can be understood primarily as relief from the negative, denoting the absence of conflict or, thankfully, the end of war. But as Christian people, we explore this world in a much more positive way. It's a gift from God, peace. Shalom. It's a gift from God. It's a consequence of living in relationship with Christ. When you have a relationship with Christ, you have a real peace within. It helps to give shape to the whole of life. When you're at peace with God, when you're at peace with yourself, then there's a new way of looking at the world. It was central to the preaching of the prophets of the Old Testament, many of whom were in conflict with false prophets. The suffering servant of Isaiah brings peace to the nations. The long-awaited gift of the Messiah is one that brings peace. We find it very powerfully, for me anyway, in Romans chapter 2. We read these words. It tells us there quite clearly, there'll be trouble and distress for every human being who does evil. First for the Jew, then for the Gentile, but glory and honor and peace for everyone who does good. First for the Jew, then for the Gentile, for God does not show favoritism. His gift of peace helps to put our lives together, helps to put things into a new and greater perspective, helps us to live close to God. I think it's one of the great things that we want to be doing. Of course, we pray for peace for the world. There's never been a time when we've needed peace more, peace between the nations, peace between the aggression of leaders at this conflictual time, peace in relationships, peace in families. It's a great, great gift. And at the heart of our preaching, our teaching, our living and our service is the gift of peace that he brings to us. Do you need to know that peace in a fresh and new way in your life as well as in mine? Do we need to know it? Do we need to experience it? Do we need to demonstrate it? Do we need to live in peace? Live in peace means to live in harmony. It means to live in a way that helps us to be connected to God, helps us to be connected not only to God, but to each other. The living peace, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world gives. So it's different. It's different in quality. It's different in depth. It's different in purpose. That's what Jesus is really saying. His peace he gives to us. And as we said, it's not like the world gives, but it's a peace that he gives forever. Thomas à Kempis was a wonderful Christian writer and had a great influence on many people, not least upon John Wesley, who viewed the imitation of Christ a significant Christian work that became an inspiration to him in his own pilgrimage. But this is what à Kempis said. First, put yourself at peace, and then you may better make others be at peace. I think that's profound. He's really saying, if we're going to be involved in bringing peace into people's lives, we need to first be at peace. That's why I love to hear somebody like Andy talk about the fact that the faith in Jesus Christ matters to him. If he's going to lead our work in terms of mental health and promoting the very best of patterns and principles, then he's at peace with God. And if you're at peace with God, you can pass it on to others. I can remember the day when I found peace with God. Peace with God is the greatest message that we could possibly declare to the world. It's a principle in the book of Romans in the New Testament, making peace with God. Have you found it? Have you discovered it? Because if you discover it, then once you've got it, you can be at peace with others and help make peace with others.
If you would like to contact Keith and find out more about today's program, write to us at Wesley Mission, Post Office Box A 5555, Sydney South 1235, or you can send us an email to impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. On our website, you can catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact, find out more about our work, read online magazines and articles, and connect with us on social media. You can also connect through Keith's blog and stay up to date on all the latest news and information from Wesley Mission, wesleymission.org.au.
I'm glad you've chosen to join us today. We have very special friends who join us each week. I hope you've found today's episode of Wesley Impact helpful and were able to identify with the thoughts on peace. It's a good time to think about peace during mental health weeks here in Australia. I found the conversation with Andrew Moore, a colleague at Wesley Mission, insightful as always. Andy oversees a very important part of our work in showing the Christian faith in action every day to people who come through our doors or we meet through our services. Please contact me if you've got any questions about what you've heard on the programme or this issue of peace. If you've any issues about the faith and how it interacts with peace, I look forward to hearing from you and talking to you. The contact details are on the screen now. If you'd like to speak to somebody, call Lifeline on 13 11 14. I look forward to seeing you again next week on Wesley Impact. It's the same time, it's the same place, and thank you for all of those that write to us to tell us that they find peace through the programmes that we offer. And I hope that this special short series during Mental Health Month has provided inspiration and also perhaps some things that point to the way of peace. Thank you again for being part of the programme today. May God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you at the same time next week.
Wesley Mission answers over 39,000 calls each year through Lifeline Sydney and Sutherland. To find out more, visit wesleymission.org.au.